We want to finally today take a quick look at politics that could derail a marketing tie-up between Comcast and Verizon. Thomas Katan joins us from Washington with the details. Thomas, this is kind of a complicated and interesting story. Why is it that Verizon and Comcast in the first place have this marketing agreement?
Well, the short answer is that we don't exactly know. In December, Comcast and Verizon unveiled kind of an unusual agreement. One half of it was that Comcast was going to sell a lot of radio spectrum to Verizon Wireless. That seemed pretty straightforward. But another side part of the deal was that they would agree to sell each other's products. And that's a little strange because if you think about it, Verizon Wireless's parent company has spent about $20 billion rolling out Fios to compete head-on with the cable companies. Right. And now, Verizon Wireless, the biggest, cellular operator, is saying, well, we're going to sell Comcast. We love Comcast, the fastest and the best. This is something that the Justice Department is already looking into. And, yesterday we started to see some political headwinds in Washington. We saw Senator Cole, who chairs the Antitrust Committee, saying he was going to hold hearings on it. Wow. And we saw Al Franken writing a letter to the Justice Department and the Federal Communications Commission, saying that they needed to look very closely at whether the companies were effectively agreeing to carve up the market between them.
Right, and what's interesting, and again, I don't know if this is something that people on the outside should be worried about, or people inside, but from Verizon's point of view, is there some sort of deeper division or competition or tension within the company that this is revealing?
Again, we don't know. We can only guess at what led to this agreement. On the face of it, both of them say it's a great thing for them to be able to reach other markets. Certainly for Comcast, it's great that every time a customer walks into a Verizon Wireless store, they're going to be offered Xfinity. But
hang on, I think we're losing your sound there, Thomas. If you don't mind picking up the phone.
Okay, yes. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
I don't know where I dropped off.
Thomas, go ahead. We'll let you just restate that thought you were making.
Yeah, I was just saying that obviously for Comcast is very interested in this. I'm going to turn the volume down here because essentially they are, every time someone walks into a Verizon Wireless store, they're going to be offered Comcast's Xfinity service instead of Verizon Fios. What's not to like? But I think there's some suspicion about, what's going on here. Originally the idea was, great, the phone companies are now going to go head-to-head with the cable companies. This is going to be great for consumers. So, what's going on here is, I guess, a suspicion among some lawmakers and some consumer groups is that they're saying, well, you know what, this is turning out to be rather expensive. We spent $20 billion rolling out Fios. I tell you what, you keep the cable side of the world, and we'll stick to wireless.
Yeah.
As a consumer, I'm sitting here thinking, I really only have two choices, and Verizon is controlling my choices.
You mean in terms of wireless, or two choices for?
Well, I could either get Fios, or I could walk into the Verizon Wireless store and get Comcast, or I could walk into Comcast and get Comcast.
Right.
So it doesn't leave a lot of room in the market for a third party to come in and say, look, we'll offer you a discount. And you get, with these kind of agreements, the danger is, and I'm not suggesting that this is what's happening, but you get sort of this price collusion sort of without even it being intentional, because everybody's sort of out there when they know what the rate is, and then you don't have competitive rates for.
And Thomas, last
consumers.
word, if this is the case, is there not an opportunity for a third party to come in here and say, to the entire market, look, we'll give you a better rate?
The problem is that traditionally the cable companies have been regional monopolies, right? It's almost like a natural monopoly. Really the hope was that everyone was going to be competing against everyone. Maybe that's still the case. Both of those companies say they still intend to vigorously compete against each other. But there's just a concern on Capitol Hill and at the Department of Justice that effectively what's going on is that there's a bit of a carve-up going on.
Right, and we will follow the proceedings, see if that does indeed derail this. Thomas Katan in D.C. Tom, thanks so much.